Welcome into a Friday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, live and packed here from the UDL. Noah's off camera, Lloyd's off camera. We got Katie and Jack back with us as Jack has made his way back from a vacation.
I was no man's land. I didn't even have service.
You forgot you're supposed to talk into that microphone when you talk there.
That was my fault. I didn't turn him on.
A
little rat.
If nothing else, I respect your style, Jack. Sending the boss a text message last Saturday night before he leaves on Sunday morning.
Yeah. I was telling Lloyd, I didn't even know when the vacation ended. Just bring yourself, dude.
College, bro. God,
Yeah,
take me back,
there's
man.
some days
take me back.
Some days you just don't know where you're going to end up or where you'll be.
Well, y'all didn't even know where he was. Y'all told me the beach.
Social was fine.
Yeah, it was great.
No,
you crushed it, bro.
No, yeah,
Nobody is reprimanding you. I love your style.
Yes.
I am complimenting you here on your day back.
What were you
I'm just
doing?
used to the rat race of life and the old jobs. Like, bro, where was the 72-hour advance notice?
Rat race.
the 2 weeks
Not
notice.
so much here on the Jordy Culotta Show.
I do wonder how he got there with no car.
Yeah,
That is
how
a good
did
question. But I saw your crew. I mean, y'all were deep. How many did y'all have with you? You had about
Like a lot of
15?
people.
Yeah, man. That's a good vacation.
Is it all LSU cats?
Yeah.
Nice. Way to assimilate.
Are you the only outsider? Like outside the
I
state?
have a friend from Long Island.
Oh, 2 Yankees.
Okay. That is
Very
dangerous.
tan right now.
All right, coming up this morning on the Jordy Culotta Show, we will talk to Jonathan Pixley, who is the former Dunne High School basketball coach. I thought that he'd have kept that job, and this is not trying to be morbid. I thought that he would have kept that job till he died. I mean, I just thought that was his gig. I mean, it was his program. He started it. He's winning there. He's got all types of players there. It must have taken something special for him to leave that job behind. He's now over at Matchpoint, which Matchpoint is connecting student athletes to businesses, both local and nationally. And yesterday, they were on fire. Obviously, yesterday was a landmark day for the NCAA, for college athletics, for student athletes, where now they can capitalize and profit on their name, image, and likeness. And we saw guys here locally striking deals. We saw all types of deals flying around nationally. Lee Steinberg, who is one of the most famous sports agents in the game. In fact, Jerry Maguire is written after Lee Steinberg's life. If you watch Jerry Maguire at the end of the show, when Lee Steinberg is standing with Warren Moon and Troy Aikman, when Rod Tidwell or Cuba Gooden Jr. is doing the interview with Roy Firestone, that is Lee Steinberg standing off camera with Troy Aikman and Warren Moon, waiting to congratulate Maguire and Tidwell. That entire story was about Steinberg's life. Steinberg and his agency yesterday signed Spencer Rattler, who's the #1 quarterback heading into college football season. He's the starting quarterback for the Oklahoma Sooners. He was on the series on Netflix when he was in high school, QB1. I got a lot of questions on that. If this is the model, right? I mean, this is what we're going to see. We're going to see sports agents just coming in here
What's
and scooping on these. Yeah, exactly.
Livvy Dunne?
I mean,
Scott
or Dylan Cruz, Trey Morgan, any of those guys. Barry, once he lands in Baton Rouge. I mean, why not just come in here and sign these guys? I think they call it a creative partnership up to this point, like while they're still in college. But then you have the upper hand. It's a lot like shoe deals in the way that they operate. I don't think it's any coincidence that Cam Newton signed with Under Armour after playing at an Under Armour school in Auburn. Mm-hmm. I think while he was there were Under Armour representatives that were either coating his pockets, you know what I mean, lining his pockets with cash, or the negotiation had already started in the sense of, look, you're wearing Under Armour now. We're never going to let you get away from us, in the sense of,
we'll take care of you.
Here's the money. You know what I mean? Here, we'll start paying you now. Who's to say now that it's semi-legal or illegal to do that if that's not what the negotiations are? We'll talk to Jonathan Pixley all about that and some of the concerns that he may have, and really just kind of the excitement of right now.
Wasn't Cam Newton in negotiation with Mississippi State?
Yes.
Wasn't that the first? And they're an Adidas school, correct?
Correct.
And that's also who's been very much in the muck with college basketball. So, I mean, you can draw the parallels that are easy to find, you know?
Well, Adidas is the one that sent Zion the check.
Right.
Allegedly.
All alleged.
All alleged.
So can you sign with Adidas now? If I'm like a Zion Williams type recruit, I go to college my first year, can I start a shoe deal now?
It sounds like the biggest concern from the university standpoint is how they combat sponsorships that they already have in place. Like LSU has their Big Five is what they call them. I believe it's Our Lady of the Lake for their medical. It's Coca-Cola for their drink, Coca-Cola Powerade. Yeah. Then there's like Cox Communications, things like that. Nike would be one of LSU's Big Five. I mean, they pay a ton of money to the LSU Athletic Administration for them to wear all of their gear in all sports. I mean, I believe LSU wears Nike in all sports now. It took them. Baseball was the last to cross over 4 or 5 years ago. They were still wearing like Russell Athletic tops, but they were wearing Nike. It was a weird contract. But now it's solely Nike for LSU. Big concern that I've heard is what if Adidas comes in and says to Stingley Jr., we want you to wear our gear. Well, he would not be able to wear that gear anytime. It would be like an NBA basketball player who signed, you know what I mean, like LeBron is signed to Nike when Reebok was making the uniforms. He still had to wear the Reebok uniforms. But as soon as he got off of the NBA's time, he wasn't mandated to wear anything. If you remember, Michael Jordan went to the 92 Olympics, and there was a big rub because the Reebok was making the warm-ups, and Reebok was looking to capitalize on getting a picture of Michael Jordan with the Reebok logo on his chest. And Jordan just draped the American flag. What a stud, just an alpha move for Jordan. But, I mean, very similar to those types of circumstances on how that is how that's going to be legislated, how that's going to be regulated. That to me is probably the biggest concern of universities that exists. And I know that there's a ton of them circulating around name, image, and likeness, but I'd imagine that there is none more pressing than what happens if you mess with the university's advertisement and promotion geared up against one of your top players trying to combat. I mean, because it is good business. If I'm Adidas, I'm going to all of the major players at Nike schools, and I'm making them an offer right now while they're in college. I'm looking at everybody that has any type of influence at a Nike school, and I'm saying Bryce Young at Alabama, I want you. I'm looking at LSU and saying I want Derek Stingley Jr. I'm looking all over the conference. I'm looking all over the country at Nike schools, and I'm trying to go after their top players, their top images.
Players aren't going to say no because I get
what's money? It's money in your face.
Yeah, it's money right there.
And then you get kicked out in Adidas. You're just winning.
And then they'll circumvent and come back and go to Nike when they get to the NFL.
Yep. But
what is, I don't know, I don't want to put you on the spot, but what's the rule in terms of them doing it off campus? Like if he wants to make a hype video of him repping Adidas and like throwing to other guys.
That's what I'm saying. I would think that would be legal.
That's legal.
I would think that would be legal.
And does it trickle all the way down to pregame if he wants to wear Adidas shoes while he warms up or no?
I can't imagine that any time that they are on LSU time that they would be able to wear anything but Nike just because of the contract status. And I agree with that. I mean, I think that's the way it should roll. I mean, because if you start having that, it literally will be the Wild Wild West.
Really
I saw Darren Ravel yesterday said that the Wild Wild West had nothing on July 1st, 2021 as far as NIL and college athletics. It was just
we're making rules as we go.
Every time you looked up, I mean, I'm talking to Dellinger right now. I'm texting with Dellinger right now, and I mean, his life over the last 24 hours. He's catching a flight right now. He's got interviews lined up until he boards the plane. As soon as he gets off of the plane at 10:15 a.m. this morning, he's got 4 interviews lined up. I mean, yesterday, if you followed his Twitter timeline, it was like a news feed. I mean, it was every time you would have to continually refresh because there was just so much news happening yesterday. I mean, whether it was the agreement between Stingley and walk-ons, whether it was the Spencer Rattler deal, whether it was the Jackson State deal that struck at 12 o'clock midnight on July 1st.
Trey Knox and his dog Blue with PetSmart.
Everything, man. Livvy Dunne in the middle of Times Square.
Yeah.
That's why we couldn't get her on the show.
Yes. But that promotion that LSU did was so strong.
Yeah.
I mean, that was so strong, man. I mean, I had a chance to be in. I know I told the audience this yesterday, but I was in New York for Burrow's Heisman campaign, Heisman Trophy ceremony and presentation, and you could not run away from LSU there. I mean, as soon as Jacob Hester and I flew there, as soon as we landed, we got into an Uber and on our way to downtown Manhattan. I mean, there were billboards with LSU representation there. I mean, I believe Odell was still with the Giants, and there was all types of Odell and LSU, and everything that was going on, and then you get to Times Square and all the Borough advertisement was running. But to see Livvy Dunne cut a cartwheel in front of that advertisement in Times Square and just kind of stand up and present it for that shot, I mean, that's as strong a marketing move as I've seen from a college. I mean,
won the day on that.
Had to. I mean, you're talking about she's got a collection of 5 million subscribers in between her Instagram and TikTok, and she hits them with that promotion on day one from Times Square, bro. I mean, there is no student athlete set up for name, image, and likeness like Livvy Dunne is. I mean, you can look at all of the starting quarterbacks in college football. You can look at all the big time basketball players that will be around in March Madness. You can look at baseball players and the way that they can own June and into the summer with the College World Series. Nobody has the strength that Livvy Dunne has right now from an individualistic standpoint as far as name, image, and likeness is concerned. I look forward to asking Jonathan Pixley from Matchpoint how you aggregate somebody like that. How do you
create value?
Or how do you create enough value for somebody like Livvy Dunne? You know what I mean? Like
the first domino, the first big fish to go. They got that and that.
See, well, my question is, when it comes to Livvy Dunne, how much does it almost separate her market wherever people are gonna people tune in for her backflips and whatever, but how much is she gonna be doing ads basically the entire time to where they're like, I don't want to watch this dude. It turned into something that I'm not into. It's almost you run into the same problem you had with cable television, wherever you tune in to watch something and you're bombarded with ads and you're like, well, this isn't the content I want.
You hope not.
Well, to be fair, they said that, remember in the NBA, they didn't have logos on the jersey and everyone's fighting. And it's like, well, I don't want to be seeing a giant billboard on the jersey. Now you don't even notice it.
Right, but I think that's such a small piece of what the NBA does. It's so minuscule. I never thought that would be an issue, but I know what you're talking about. But for Livvy Dunne, it's going to be like a cartwheel and a ba-bam, like Coca-Cola,
right.
Right in your face. You'd be like, well, she's just doing this to make money instead of, it highlights the same point that people make about college football and they're worried about it turning professionalism. But this will absolutely be a 1-minute commercial.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about the scenario of the possibility of schools teaming up with their student athletes for promotions. Right? To use name, image, and likeness to be the advantage of both the school and the student athlete. I think that's a great business model, especially for somebody like LSU who has these types of athletes.
We've had the last two biggest athletes, Joe Burrow and Livvy Dunne.
I agree. And you look down the line, and potentially Shareef O'Neal could be as powerful as any of them.
Yeah.
When you think of his social media numbers, and if he is just scratches the surface of being the player that we believe he could be here in his second season in Baton Rouge, what that could do for his notoriety. He's always going to lead SportsCenter if he makes any type of highlight because of his last name. If his dad is in the crowd, which he will be once he starts to play consistently, his dad's not going to miss a lot of games. He'll be around, so you'll continually see Shaq and Shareef kind of tied together. And then he's great on social media. He's got a great personality. He's got a great likable, very attractive personality that you want to follow, you want to keep up with. To me, he's got as big of an opportunity as Livvy Dunne does. I mean, I know he doesn't have the numbers, but he will have as much exposure, if not more, than she does from his playing surface, from playing basketball. Livvy's not going to get as much notoriety on the mat. You know what I mean? That'll probably be her least,
her third,
exactly.
Yeah, her third thing to make money from.
Exactly.
But when you go with Shareef, name a player that's more set up to have a team around him that's ready to monetize this, because Shaquille O'Neal is absolutely he's in everything. So he knows Shaquille will have Shareef set up with the proper businesses, because some of these college kids are not going to know how to monetize it. Shareef will know how to do it from day one. He already knows how.
Shaq's a great example of athletes that really take the business approach very serious and have gone into the business world and made a humongous impact. I mean, Shaq is
one of the best.
He's got to be one of the best. But so is his ex-wife. So is Shareef's mom.
Oh, really?
Shawnee O'Neal. Who was it that was here the other day talking about? It was Will Wade that said that Shawnee O'Neal owned that Drew League team that Shareef was playing on the other day, and that was the first female owner of the Drew League team. She also started that reality show on VH1, Basketball Wives.
I didn't
mean,
realize
she is the
did that.
executive.
Cool.
She is the executive producer of that show, and there's a ton of money in that type of media.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the Kardashians.
Right, exactly. And then now look, Shawnee O'Neal came away with a ton of money from her divorce, right? And
You would assume.
rightfully so. No, I mean it's public.
Yeah.
I mean it's public knowledge on that Shaq had a real messy divorce with Shawnee O'Neal, but she has done incredible in taking that money and really like maximizing it. I mean, she has done an incredible job. I thought a lot about Ed O'Bannon yesterday. Does everybody know who Ed O'Bannon is in this
but
room?
nobody of our age group likes him.
I don't know who
Really?
he is.
Well, because he ruined NCAA football. He's the reason that there was
Understandable.
no more video game that everybody was playing at the height of
Oh.
us. Well, at least that's exactly when I was in college.
I was
Yeah.
playing
So it was
disgusting amount of hours.
exactly. Like he probably saved me. He probably gave me the ability to graduate college, but he also took away the greatest thing that we had going at the fraternity house.
Why?
Because he started name, image, and likeness, and so when that came down the portal, it was, well, if we're not going to monetize this, then take everybody out of the game because it's essentially name, image, and likeness is what they're doing in the game. Number 7 on LSU was
I'm
Patrick
number
Peterson.
7.
You know,
He sued the NCAA back in 2009 for name, image, and
Played
likeness.
at UCLA, right?
Ed O'Bannon
Yeah.
and Charles O'Bannon were two twin brothers on the 1995 UCLA national championship team, basketball team. And Ed O'Bannon, was really the first to bring, at least to the public, the question of why can the NCAA use my name and image like they were using on the college video
it
game?
was the one with Kevin Love on the cover because they did classic teams. So they brought UCLA like classic teams that
Yeah.
had won championships, and he was a part of it, and he saw himself in the video game, and he was like, "Why am I not getting any money for this?"
Yeah.
But he's the first college athlete to ask the question. Like, I'm an adult and I'm seeing this. Like, this can't be fair.
Right.
And so that's what sparked the entire
Okay.
debate.
Interesting.
So I thought a lot about him yesterday. That had to be a monumental day for Ed O'Bannon and everybody around him, just to see this stuff happening and going in and just going into real life scenarios the
Yeah.
way that they have been over the last 24 hours. It has been fascinating to keep up with Ross Dellinger's Twitter timeline, with all the college insiders that are keeping up with this stuff, to see the deals that are being struck here at the stroke of midnight. I mean,
fast they came
how
out.
fast. I mean, it shows you how long they've been working on these
Yeah.
deals.
What about Bo Nix with Milo's tea? I thought that
That's
was
kind of impressive.
random. It's random though, right?
But that's the type of stuff that
so
you're going
random.
to get,
And did
man.
you see all the Alabama memes of them pouring out their tea?
Did you see the picture of Bo Nix? Did
No.
you know that he looked like that?
No.
It looks weird. He's like really tan. I thought that's not what he looks
Sort of
like.
one
Like,
off.
Fake tan or
like-
good tan?
I think
yeah,
he got
here.
like
That's
totally
right here.
meatied up. Like,
Oh,
I'll
that's
pull it-
fake.
That's a total.
Yeah,
That is
I
a
think-
fake tan. That is.
It's like Jack's color right now.
This is real. I worked for this.
I mean, he looks orange.
Yeah, he really does.
That was his first Milo's media experience,
Oh.
and it went
I think he
poorly.
might have had his teeth done too.
That's what I thought, too.
Let me see.
Yeah,
We're
I was
gonna have
like,
to
those are
ask
I'm a
some
teeth
Dr.
expert now.
Chad. Yeah,
Let's
we're
see.
gonna
Let's
have
see what
to
you got
ask
here.
him. Yeah, those are some pretty
That's the nicest
teeth.
teeth in the state.
Those
though.
Great
are some
smile.
Nice teeth, I know.
Great smile. Got a little Billy Cannon look to him. That square jaw and that
That's
haircut.
funny. Yeah.
So we will continue to talk about this as Dellinger tweeted 17 hours ago. How did the biggest college deal yet come together in a 3-story floor condo? It is unreal and shocking over at SI. I mean, the headlines on Sports Illustrated have been pretty funny to follow, just with all of the news that has been coming out with name, image, and likeness over the past couple of days, especially yesterday.
Do you think we have the best brand in college sports after yesterday? Because I was texting Lloyd, like, not a very good academic school, but that sports brand.
Yeah, for
that,
sure,
I mean,
I
that's the
think.
reason I came to LSU. That
Yeah.
brand means something. I'm trying to think who. Ohio State.
Yeah, I'm
love
sitting.
Alabama.
I'm sitting here brainstorming on trying to think who would be
Florida.
competitive with them because of the way that they have really exerted themselves into this space. I think Texas
Yeah,
has done a
Texas.
really good job here. They're embracing it. Even the Alabama, I believe they're calling it the advantage. Is something that they're putting forward.
That's their NIL thing?
But LSU has
That's their program to learn how to market yourself.
Right.
Which is genius.
but LSU
the
has
Alabama A.
has shown that they're just very much supportive. I think that if LSU feels anything, the feeling that I get from LSU is what I'm trying to say is that they're very supportive, open, wanting to help the student athlete, which I think is the correct approach in this model, because as soon as you become standoffish, as soon as you become jealous of what's happening on either side of the negotiating table here, I think you run yourself into a problem of potentially losing these guys.
I don't think that anybody has leaned into it more than LSU. Like, to Jack's point,
that's what I meant.
Yeah, I mean, just because, imagine seeing another school with a billboard in Times Square where we'd be like, why didn't LSU do that?
Yeah.
Instead, everybody else going, look at what LSU did. Like, we're absolutely leaning into this brand awareness, and that, like Cody Worsham said yesterday, we're going to be bold. We want our athletes to be bold because right now there's no restrictions on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they have embraced it. LSU has accepted it, and I think it's going to pay off for them down the line.
That's
I think
expected from LSU.
Me, and you got to play into the me.
Yeah,
because it helps you.
It very much does.
And to Jack's point, I think is interesting. It goes to show how national the brand is before even name, image, and likeness. Like LSU's ability to put out videos and football content to make you want to come from Stores, Connecticut, all the way down to Baton Rouge, which is, Baton Rouge isn't really a main city that you would I want to travel toward. He came here for LSU, so it speaks volumes to
Did
what
New Orleans
they've done.
attract you?
Nope, LSU.
Really?
Did you not even think about New Orleans when making your college decision? Did you know that New Orleans was an hour away from Baton Rouge? You did?
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
That is.
I mean, it's interesting to talk about and think about. And Jonathan Pixley is going to be here coming up in about an hour, and we will talk to Pixley from Matchpoint as he's here. Remember, daily, our coffee is provided by Majestic Brews. Our water is provided by True Blue Water. That's TRU, bluewater.com. All of our guests via this morning on the phone line are compliments of Metropolitan Health Group, Real Doctors, Real Solutions, from our friends over there with no doctors, but they got doctors. But Charlie Harvey and Jason Ramazan is not a doctor. But you can get in touch with them for all your help. In fact, Jason Ramazan, Mr. Fun's Travel, still open spots available for the Pasadena trip for LSU, UCLA, and the season opening game.
The stadium's running out of beer.
Tigers, Bruins, yes.
Like
for
when
sure.
we did the Vanderbilt?
Yes. Vanderbilt. I think they drank the city dry. Not only did they drink...
Boy, you were there, right?
They didn't drink just the stadium dry. They drank Nashville.
Nashville was dry by morning. They were wondering why we were asking for vodka in our orange juice. We're like, pour it. and so the bars were not prepared for that. They ran out of vodka, and then I walked down at halftime to put a little second half bet in, and I saw the beer coming in. It was guarded like a Brinks truck. Like they were. Like had I been in this game at that point, I would have filmed it because they were guarding it like it was multi-million, which I guess it was. It was worth a ton of money. And LSU fans were like, "Oh, the grove case," like just trying messing with them. But they're like, "This is serious. We're out of beer at halftime."
Yeah.
I was the same scenario I saw happen back in 2007. We were in Atlanta for the SEC championship, watching the Pittsburgh. Who were they playing for LSU to go to the national championship? It was Rich Rodriguez's Pittsburgh
West Virginia
team was playing West Virginia.
Backyard brawl. Pat McAfee missed the kick.
Yes, Pat White was the quarterback
and Steve Slayton.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
What a backfield. Speaking of NCAA.
And somehow West Virginia lost that game. Somehow. I mean, they were like 3 touchdown favorites. Lost the game, and LSU ended up in the national championship.
That was Ryan Perley started the LSU Tennessee game.
He was the MVP of the game.
Yes, he was. 1 interception, played great, and the future was so bright.
It was. It was. I still remember seeing him throw that touchdown pass to Demetrius Byrd, where the cornerback from Tennessee kind of thought to himself. You could tell his reaction was. I mean, he looked like he was in good position, but the ball went right over his head, and he kind of looked over his head, and Demetrius Byrd kind of caught it going backwards, and you could tell that guy was thinking, how in the hell did that happen? How did he get that ball there?
It was like the original back shoulder fade. It was like, how did you know to pinpoint it right there? God, I loved Ryan Perley.
He was so good. And he looked so good in a uni. Oh, he was the best. He was so good.
Did you
He
drink
built
him
out
dry?
that uni so good.
He was great, bro.
You guys found out.
Pulled his socks up.
He was so ahead of time. Talk about NIL.
He wore the Hirachi, the Hirachi fleece.
The 3-bar, dude, the cool helmet.
Yes.
He was just a visor away.
And he just had that flick. He just had that flick.
With the wristbands, it made it look so good, dude. Wasted him on a bunch of short side options.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
Freaking me out.
you guys found like, oh my God, West Virginia lost, and you're like, let's drink, and just ran that.
Oh yeah,
stadium dry.
so we were in the hotel watching that game in Atlanta from the SEC championship, and it was nothing but LSU fans. I mean, it was filled with purple and gold. And by the end of the third quarter, they were doing the same thing. They were like making calls to hotels around the area to see if they couldn't get liquor and alcohol dropped off because the place was about to riot. I mean, they were intoxicated LSU fans looking for more liquor. You know what I mean?
Because otherwise,
there was none to be found.
Otherwise, my skin's about to itch.
Exactly.
This is a problem.
I mean, it was going to be. It was about to be bad. It was about to be
Well,
bad.
because if you remember, it was LSU played in the afternoon and they played at night, so LSU fans have been drinking all day.
Yeah, that was the day of the Les Miles have a good day, have a great day press conference.
What does that mean?
Kirk Herbstreit, the morning of the SEC title game in 2007, and by all accounts, the deal was done between Miles and Michigan. Les Miles was going to leave LSU and go to Michigan, and Herbstreit, being the Ohio State grad that he is, couldn't sit on the information and put that out on College Game Day, the television show that he's on in the morning. So I think that news probably broke at around 10 a.m. on SEC Championship Saturday when Les Miles and his team was gearing up to play Tennessee at 2:30. And Miles calls like an emergency press conference in Atlanta before the game to say that he's staying at LSU. He's not answering. It was typical Les Miles, goofball, goober, didn't know what he was saying, stupid, just unorganized. And then he like slams the table and says, "Have a nice day." Like looks at the camera, "Have a great day," and walks off. Like, and everybody, and all the LSU Les Miles, "I love that guy." Like, bro, are you serious? This goofball moron.
So you hated him even then?
Oh, I hated him the first time I met him.
Okay.
I mean, I went to his opening press conference and thought, Skip Bertman went from Nick Saban, who controlled him, to Les Miles, who he can control. It's obvious that he is just looking for a pawn that he can kind of steer because Saban has run him ragged, and he's not going to deal with some type of ego or some type of arrogance that Saban came in here with and said, "Bro, I don't give a damn about your 5 national baseball championships. Football is what pays the bills here," and really Bertman. That rubbed Bertman the wrong way. 2 egotistical guys, man. I mean, 2 high egotistical guys. And Miles was in here, and Miles was a dog from day one. Anybody that tells you that Les Miles gave them a chance to don't let me get going.
Well, it's funny that Skip Bertman wanted to bring in somebody that he could control, and he bought a car that you absolutely can't steer. Like this isn't you bought a car that's on the steering wheel's on the right side of the car. Like this is different than anything you could ever drive.
And so Miles ends up staying at LSU, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
If they were able to get rid of Miles that day, bro, I mean, it would have been a huge win. I don't care who you bring in, it would have been an upgrade over Leslie. He's the worst.
Strong.
He is the all-time worst. I'm telling you,
management.
He is the all-time worst. He was so entitled, he was so arrogant, and he was so dumb. I mean, really and truly, he was so incompetent in watching his teams play. I mean, how likely was it for LSU to get a stupid penalty in a big part of the game under Les Miles? I mean, it was a fact. It was clockwork. You know what I mean? Which was his antithesis. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it was just
the only thing you could set your clock to with Les Miles. But you mentioned Bertman and the ego thing and not wanting to bring in another power player, I guess. There was smoke about Spurrier coming to LSU. Is that why he didn't want that?
Spurrier would have never came back. They left him at the airport in '88. He never came back.
Yeah.
I mean, he.
What do you mean?
Steve Spurrier was a finalist for the LSU job in 1987. Excuse me, not 1988, when Bill Arnsbarger left and took the athletics director job at the University of Florida. He took the AD job at the University of Florida, and Steve Spurrier and Mike Archer were finalists for the LSU job. And Mike Archer was the defensive coordinator on Bill Arnsbarger's team. He was on LSU's staff at the time, and I think he was like 33 years old. He was the youngest Division I head football coach when he was named LSU's head coach at the time, and he was 33 to 36. He was somewhere in there, and he gets the job, and nobody from LSU called Steve Spurrier to let him know and nobody went and picked him up at the airport when he flew in for his second interview, and he sat there for like an hour and a half, and somebody from the airport called up at LSU admin and was like, this guy says he's looking for a ride to the, and they put him on the phone and said, we appreciate it. Thanks for your interest. We're going to hire Mike Archer. And he gets on a plane, and Bill Arnsbarger, who was LSU's former coach, who really brought LSU, had a lot of success with LSU in just 3 years, now is the AD in Gainesville and hires Spurrier and ends up putting together the college football dynasty of the 90s. I mean, that's Florida State and Florida, the two best programs in college football in the 90s.
Wow.
The run that LSU could have gone on from the 90s to Nick Saban. Well, I don't know if you get Nick Saban if you have Steve Spurrier there.
You don't, because you become so
big.
You become so pissed off of underachieving that you have to go find the best. You've got to go find Saban. You've got to go find the guy that can really get you right. And I don't believe that if you have Steve Spurrier that you get Nick Saban, just because why would Saban follow Spurrier? Right. I mean, Saban really took the job at LSU. A lot of people that were in the early negotiations of Saban say that Saban took the job because he saw the sleeping giant. He saw that if you can recruit the state of Louisiana and you keep them all at LSU, why can't you win there? And he really recognized that in taking the job. But there are reports that like Saban, as close to like within like 20 minutes of being introduced as LSU's new head coach, was trying to backtrack, was having like second thoughts on, should I do this? If you remember, none of his assistants came with him. LSU sent a plane to East Lansing, Michigan, to Michigan State, and Saban said whoever gets on the plane has a job at LSU. That plane came back empty 24 hours later. Nobody got on the plane because they named Bobby Williams, the head coach of Michigan State, who was on that staff, who later became an LSU assistant after he was fired.
He would have got on the plane.
I think he wanted to get on the plane if they wouldn't have named him the head coach. Yeah, they would have named him. They would have.
That's like Jerry Maguire vibes. Who's coming with me?
It was.
It was only Dorothy Boyd got one.
It was, but nobody did. I mean, that wasn't even a goldfish to go with.
That speaks so much volumes to Nick Saban, though, and just the way he operates. Like, all right, none of y'all want to get on the plane with me?
I know.
Yeah. We're coming for that ass.
Michigan State,
we're coming for that ass.
We're going to schedule you tomorrow.
That's exactly right.
Wow.
But just a little piece of history there on how it went down,
man. I learned so much LSU history here. Never knew I would need to know.
Whenever we're dry, I'm just going to bring up Les Miles.
You can.
Exactly.
I'll give you an hour.
Yeah.
Every time I'll give you an hour.
He'll go in dry.
I'll go in every time. F that moron, bro. I mean, sheesh.
We should get him on the show.
That guy is as dumb as bricks.
Come in an hour too, Dick Vitale.
No, I ruined.
He used to come on. He used to come on our morning show, and he knew. I guess he would get feedback that, like, the Culotta guys, he shits on you every time he can, bro. I mean, like, he totally dumps on your head, bro.
You're not allowed at an Italian restaurant in the city.
He would come on and call me Gordy, like, to troll me. You know what I mean?
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was kind of good. I was kind of laughed at him, like, thanks, Gordo. Yeah, you know, no problem,
awesome.
Saban.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, Nikki.
Love you, Leslie.
Yeah, right.
No, I ruined a lot of, not ruined, but a lot of spirited debates in college and in high school of, like, I was kind of on the same train you were. I was like, this dude, it's a fraud. He's a fraud. And they were like, he wins 10 games.
Yeah.
Like, we should be winning every game.
I used to love the people. He's a family man.
What's that have to do with it?
Hey, bro, turn your back on your wife and see what he does to her. You know what I mean? Like, turn around and see if you can't grab the salt and pepper on the table behind you, and Miles will have his tongue down your wife's throat by the time you turn around. You know what I mean? Like, family man, bro. Blah. Get the hell out of here with that stuff.
I thought Voodoo was closed at 10 p.m.
Exactly. Daily, we are brought to you by Jeansonne Spillers. TeamNewTooth, bro. TNT. Whew.
New tooth goofing.
Bro, I hope this... I know my man Spillers is the best. And extracting a tooth, bro, is for the birds. I'm just telling you. But if anybody can do it, my man Chad Spillers can do it. He made the...
You got that photo to
he
put
made
up there?
he made the entire experience. He walked me through it, held my hand.
Yeah.
Really was giving me the support that I needed during yesterday's surgery, which I found it as a bone graft. I got a bone graft in my gum.
Well, that picture of the tooth you sent us was like this
So
long.
gross, dude.
Jeez, how did they
So
get that
unnecessary to send that.
out? I stared at it like, oh God, I don't know how to feel about this.
That should have been a necklace.
That's what I said. You should make it like a shark's tooth. But I had no idea, like you said, that a tooth it goes all the way up in
All
your
the way
mouth.
up.
It shows you how tough it is to knock somebody's teeth out of their head.
Yes.
I mean, you got to really get on somebody to knock their teeth
For
out of their
real?
head. So they put that tooth back. This is a temporary tooth that I have. I actually have like a cast.
Wait, the tooth
Behind-
they pulled out, they put back
They
in?
put back in because they had to.
Sixth day of the
so
year.
they had to rebuild. They had to rebuild. They used the term membrane in my gum as they stuffed bone into my gum to rebuild kind of the foundation of that tooth. They reinstall the old tooth until that bone can grow strong enough to hold the new tooth. So I'm looking like a 6-month process here. For the next 4 months,
I didn't realize
I can't
that.
take a bite out of a po' boy. I can't eat corn on the cob. I can't eat anything like an apple. Everything I'm gonna have to cut pizza now, bro. I'm gonna be like the guy like cutting up pizza.
Oh, that's sad.
But 6 months from now, I should be looking like Saban's teeth.
You'll be chomping on
You know what I
the
mean? I should have some Saban type teeth.
Are you going to go more than one? Are you going to
Absolutely.
match them up?
You'll be like Joe Burrow.
Front 4.
Front 4, bottom 4?
No, I'd go front. Front 4, just top 4.
So you're going veneers is what it sounds like.
Joe Burrow mouth.
Right there on the fence. Right there on the
You
fence.
come back. I don't know how I'll look at you. Name, image, and likeness. It doesn't mean you got to smile for it.
Matchpoint. But Jeansonne Spillers is the best dentist in town, and it's not even close, bro. JeansonneSpillers.com. Chad Spillers, his great crew over there, too, man. Everybody watches the show, loves the show, knows everybody. All of our team. Their team is fantastic.
That's
It is
awesome.
at, they're out in Prepare Avenue in Gonzales, and then they're over here in Baton Rouge on Perkins Road.
Which one did you go to?
I went to Gonzales yesterday, but I've been to the Baton Rouge location, that's where I was diagnosed with the dead tooth, and then went and got it taken care of out in Gonzales. Easy to get to them online. JeansonneSpillers.com. JeansonneSpillers.com is where you find them. Appreciate Dr. Spillers for his support as always for the Jordy Culotta show. Name, image, and likeness was all over the place yesterday. Just when I think I can't love Sha'Carri Richardson anymore. She goes and fails a test for weed and wins the 200 and 100 to qualify for the Olympics. Now she's DQ'd from those events. She still has an opportunity to get into the to the Olympics in some other categories. But Sha'Carri Richardson, after yesterday, is going to be suspended for the Olympics after she fails a drug test. Which I hate.
I know.
That's
for
the thing
her.
you're gonna get you on,
Like,
not what
seriously,
everyone else
bro.
is pumping in.
That's
I mean,
such a shame.
the Olympic Committee, you're going to hold back the fastest American because she smoked a little pot? I mean,
ridiculous.
in 2021,
I know.
we're really going to penalize one of our best athletes in the world over smoking weed? I mean, you want to talk about awareness, and I understand there are laws in states that prohibit this. But, I mean, look at the way that this stuff is trending. Look at the way that this stuff is going. I mean, we will look back like we look back now. 10 years ago, you threw Tyrann Mathieu off of a college football team for smoking pot. 10 years from now, we're going to look back and say, we suspended Sha'Carri Richardson off of the Olympic team for smoking weed? Really?
Is that LSU compliance that got her?
I mean, in her prime?
It was the World Anti-Doping Agency. Have you ever heard of that?
Well, yes, of
WADA.
course.
Go to Russia.
WADA.
They're doing a pretty bad job.
But,
WAPA.
but the funniest thing about Trinidad, I guess you could say it, I can't. But the thing
I'm
about
on meds, leave me alone.
the thing about WADA is that they've, if you've seen like the Icarus documentary on Netflix, which is fantastic,
Oh, I've heard of it.
and it talks about I think it's the Russians that are doing this elaborate steroid scheme. And they don't do anything about it until they absolutely have to, and they get caught, and now they were suspended from the Olympics, and now they're back. But this is like, it's obvious that doping is going on everywhere when it comes to Olympics, and you're going to suspend me for weed? Like, y'all got bigger fish to fry than me, and I'm going to run right past you.
You going to take me off the team?
I'm high.
You going to take me off the squad? I know. What is more impressive, that she cruised by everybody with weed in her lungs? I mean, like, that's pretty impressive. I mean,
It
she
really
won
is.
the 100-meter Olympic trials with a 10.86.
Flying.
That is, I mean, that's like a plane about to take off the runway.
That's a men's time. Like you could argue that that's close to not
Yeah.
Olympic men, but that's extremely fast.
Yeah.
And Yeah, like you said, if you line me up for the 100-meter dash and I was high, I would run about 15 steps and be like, this is dumb. What are we doing? All the way down there?
Everybody's passing you like.
I'll meet you halfway.
I'll get you on the next one.
Load one up. I'll be down there in a minute.
I thought this was a relay.
Right. But look, I know that there's a lot of people in the Jeff Marcon group who says Richardson knew the rules. She smoked weed. Just follow the rules. I get it. I understand it. Lloyd, we're not rules guys. I get you. Bro.
Lloyd's gone.
We're not the best and never have followed the rules. But that's the argument, and it's a simple sentence. You know what I mean? Like it is simple. If we're playing by the letter of the law every single time, then I get it. The rules are there. But again, we're going to throw Tyrann Mathieu off the team for weed. You know what I mean? Like, let's change the policy today.
Right.
We're going to throw Sha'Carri Richardson off the team for weed. Let's appeal this and see if we can't get some type of grace period on this, because, I mean, it's becoming legal in nearly every single state. By the time the Olympics happen again, right? By the time the Olympics happens again. So they'll happen, is it this summer?
Summer.
Yeah, this summer.
Yes, this summer, but it's the 2020 Olympics. So it's supposed to be last year.
Okay, so is it going to be 3 years from now or 4 years from now? It'll be 3 years from now.
Well,
so
okay.
3 years from now, I would bet that all 50 states have weed legal.
Yeah.
But then
By the
it's
next time you run,
sure.
by the next time you go to the Olympics, which Sha'Carri Richardson should be able to still
she
compete.
would have won gold.
She would definitely won gold, or at least competed for it. We can say that with a lot of confidence.
She have smoked before her race in the Olympics?
That's kind of sick.
Would she?
I don't know.
Are you asking?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
I mean, if she smoked before the trials, you got to imagine that Olympic Park, it goes down, bro.
Well, yeah, they give you like 1 million condoms to
Well,
go
sure.
in there.
I
They
mean-
make beautiful babies, and I don't know where they go. I'll get one. I'll raise it as my own.
I know that's the story, but the parties. I know they're all banging. You know what I mean? I know they're
beautiful
all
people
They're
everywhere.
a bunch of
Yeah.
rabbits. They're a bunch of rabbits. I mean, you put them in just a certain square mile period, and they are all beautiful people walking around with their shirts off. I mean, people are going to are going to hook up, but I mean, the parties I hear are fantastic. I mean, like, you could have like countries versus countries on who can party.
You get introduced to so many new cultures. Like, oh, y'all do this? What is that? Like, oh my god, they get
I've
down
heard
in
about
South
this, bro.
Africa. Ayahuasca.
LLL asks, will y'all be in Hoover for Media Days? We are talking about that right now. We're still trying to get on Radio Row. They don't do podcasts
Well, we're not a podcast.
on
We're a
Radio
live
Row.
show.
We don't have a radio station, is what they've told us.
Yeah, well, we have an
Radio
LLC.
stations. I'm still working it, bro. I'm still working it. And LSU is going to be on the first day. They're going to be on Monday. So our plan is, if we do go, which we are hoping to go, that we would just be there Monday, for all intents and purposes. Because I've done the event now 6 out of the last 7 years, and you can pretty much take and get everything you want to accomplish done in a day and a half, 2 days. If we got there on Sunday, everybody's going to be flooding in on Sunday. You go to dinner that night at the hotel bar, and you see everybody, and you're able to kind of network, and keep up your face and keep up with what you're doing. And then the next day, obviously, people will be moving around, and LSU will be one of the first schools featured. We hope to have a presence there, but then we would be back pretty quick. I don't think that we would stay for the entirety of SEC Media Days.
No, I would hope not. But that's kind of an indictment on the on SEC Media Day. It's a podcast is one of the biggest platforms that you can have. Like, so if Barstool Sports calls and they want to do a show there, they're not going to let them in.
See, but like I think that
No, they don't anymore.
Oh, they don't?
I think that the SEC
Wants to be able to control the message a little bit.
Not unlike or not like the Olympic Committee would be a little, like, all right,
valuable.
They let Barstool in. You know what I mean? But like it was explained to me from a representative from the SEC office, if you started letting every podcast in from every market in the Southeastern Conference, he was like, Jordy, we love your show. We know about your show. But we also know about a show in Athens. We know about a show in Gainesville. We know about a show in Nashville. Do we bring in all of the radio stations and all the podcasters? Then we're putting you guys into the mall in Birmingham. Like the Radio Row would extend way down into the mall, which
Is that a bad
I
thing?
think that I don't think it is a bad thing, but I don't think that they're ready for it. And I think that they still need a little time to open up the door to all of the podcasters and all of the people that have any type of voice or small influence within their market.
Don't they even know who you are?
With time.
Yeah, they do. You're not welcome.
That's the problem.
Yeah, right. So we will try, and we are still trying to be there. And if they have a spot for us, we will be there for the day of LSU for sure.
We set up right outside.
Yeah.
Just right outside.
Yeah.
Well, don't let them listen to this. Like, if hey, Lloyd, cut this after the show. Put it on, not on the podcast. But we set up right outside where Media Row is. And like, hey, you can walk in and walk right back out.
Yeah.
And grab them.
I get it, bro. You're right. It's not over.
Pull up in a
Never
van.
over.
It's not over. It's
Like
not
Will
over.
Wade says.
It's never over. Which, by the way,
Will is a win.
did you see who was new in the transfer portal?
Cockburn.
Kofi Cockburn.
Brought to you by Majestic Coffee.
Yes, indeed. Kofi Cockburn from Illinois. Adam Miller was one of the top returning players for the Illini. He put his name into the transfer portal, ended up at LSU. Kofi Cockburn was the best player on Illinois' team last year. He's now in the transfer portal. Will Wade told us 48 hours ago, right here on this show, right around this time, when I asked him if he was done putting the roster together, and he laughed back into the comment and said that they are never done after getting the news of Darius Days coming back to LSU for another season. So it will be it'll be interesting to see what happens here, because Wade and his crew are putting together the presentation for Cockburn and doing all of the background checks and all of their due diligence, bringing in Adam Miller to make sure that they can recruit this guy. And don't get me started if they add Kofi.
18 a game, 10 rebounds, 7'1", 285 pounds. What's going on at Illinois? That program just blew
what
up.
is going on, bro? I mean, like, from everything that we've always heard, I mean, Illinois, and that, I mean, like, they were in the
They were
number one in the country for like 3 weeks.
That was Megan Making Money's pick to win the entire thing, and she was on one. I think they won their tournament, didn't they?
Yeah,
Did they win the conference tournament?
He has his name in the draft.
He still has his name in the draft. So and Brad Underwood is kind of recognized as one of like the top coaches. Yeah, he's kind of one of the top coaches in the league in basketball. So it is interesting to see what would happen here with the potential of possibly adding Cockburn to this roster.
I'm getting my ticket to New Orleans if we get Kofi.
Yeah,
Kidding me?
they'd be a top 5 team.
Dick Vitale would explode from
He'd
the
explode.
inside.
No, he would die.
There's
He'd
not enough
explode.
Pepto-Bismol in the world to help that man. He would be irate.
I quote tweeted him yesterday. Did y'all see this? His tweet from 1 year ago.
The gas man's quote tweeting.
Yes, I was on it yesterday. Bro.
You were.
I was. I mean, Doc, up that gas a little bit. Dick Vitale. This is a year ago. This is June 29th, 2020. I'm amazed how fans of schools that face NCAA allegations scream, what about their schools? What about the other schools? LSU and Arizona's fans blame everyone but the coaches that have humiliated their first-class schools. Trust me, Dick says a year ago. Level 1 charges are coming at the end of July or early August. That is a fact, is what Vitale says a year ago. And LSU basketball could be scooping up their second transfer from Illinois if Kofi makes it official, stays out of the draft.
7-footers. That'd be ridiculous. Who would play the 4?
Efton Reed's now coming off the bench. I mean, Efton Reed now becomes your 6th man. Say that out loud, bro. I mean, Efton Reed becomes your 6th, possibly your 7th man. I mean, with however you want to sub, however you like he told us 2 days ago. I mean, you can play a lot of ways. You can play big, you can play small, you can play fast, you can play you can play however you want. You bring in another 7-foot skill guy, and man,
Everything's on the table.
Sheesh. Yeah, I mean,
7'1", 285.
That's
it can handle it. I mean, he's got a special type of game.
Can't get through that screen.
Yeah, screen me. So we will see what happens here over the next couple of days. What's the deadline on the draft?
July 7th.
July 7th. So we'll know quick. We'll know.
I've looked. He's
Next
not
week?
gonna be. Yeah, he probably won't even get drafted.
Yeah.
Cockburn. Really?
He just can't stretch the floor.
Wow. So who? Good Lord.
Talk about how much basketball's changed.
Yes.
10 years ago, that's a top 10 pick.
Yeah, he is.
Right.
Remember, we're brought to you daily by Falaya Real Estate. Get in touch with Falaya online at falaya.com. Barrett Blondo, good friend of ours, is changing the way that real estate is bought and sold. 225-939-6153 is his phone number, but easy to find him online at falaya.com. The app is easy to download inside your Google and Apple stores. If you're looking to sell your house this summer, if you're thinking about trying for sale by owner, then you need to check out Falaya. Listing plans start at $399. Sell your house by yourself and save thousands with Falaya. For more information, visit falaya.com or download the app today at Falaya. Remember, if you like doing things yourself, if you want to save some cash, then you need to check out Falaya Real Estate. It's do-it-yourself for selling your house on steroids. For more information, visit falaya.com or download the app today at your Google or Apple store for Falaya, Falaya, falaya.com for more information. So
We got some hot dogs coming up.
Galen will be here.
He's here.
Galen will
He's
be
arriving.
here. We will have hot dogs here. We will also talk to Nathan Velasquez at 8:30 this morning and go up and see what's happening around his hood. We're going to talk to Ben Mintz. We're going to talk to Jonathan Pixley. We've got a lot to get to before we get out of here at 9 a.m. this morning. So
How are
come
we
back
gonna
with
do
us.
it?
We will take a little small break.
Probably go long.
We will be back here on the Jordy Culotta show. Thomas Willie says Cockburn and Max Johnson could partner up to make some pretty good NIL money.
Manscaped, baby.
I mean, like, dude,
DP,
wow.
DP, the NIL market.
That's exactly right. Second hour of the Jordy Culotta show coming at you, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, Jordy at jordyculotta.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. Jordy at jordyculotta.com to learn more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, Jordy at jordyculotta.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. Jordy at jordyculotta.com to learn more. Are you self-employed? Welcome back here to this Friday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, joined by our good friend Galen Iverstines over at Iverstine's Butcher Shop, as he is here with a couple of burnt ends and hot dogs, cheddar cheese-filled hot dogs. Does not go with a new tooth. But the burnt ends I can eat in the back, so it's all good. It's all
What
good.
about your breakfast beers? These are like a smoothie.
Yeah,
So.
gotta cut everything up.
Eat it with a spoon.
Yeah.
You can suck that glizzy down, dude. Just go
No, you
straight
can't do
down
it,
the
bro.
tube.
Dry sockets.
Oh, you got that plan.
See there, Dr. Spillers, I was paying attention yesterday, bro.
Gas and all.
Galen, good to see you again. Good to see you. I hate that you got your hair cut, bro. It was either a wife or a boss came down with that ruling. I know you don't have a boss; you're your own boss. So that
there was a
that
rogue,
brings it down to the wifey, huh? She made the executive order there, cut the hair.
Well, yeah, we had Hogs for the Cause a couple weeks ago.
Great event. Ben Mintz will be here in a minute. He was the host.
Yeah, he was there.
Yep.
And we were Morton Anderson's mullets. Our team was. So we cut because we had a bunch of people from Atlanta, a bunch of people from New Orleans. So we came together with barbecue greatness, and the mullet had to go a few days later.
Hate that, bro.
You hate
Still
to
looking
see
fresh.
it. You hate to
Let's
see
hope
it.
Opens up the face. You still got a good looking face, great cheekbones,
The
but
money maker.
yes, absolutely. But the hair was a great touch.
I would argue
Yes,
the hair was the money maker.
But I
It
get
was.
one haircut a year.
Okay.
And so
All right, so
the
at least you got
Wednesday
your one.
Before I got my haircut, I told my wife, I said, "This is the last time you can go to bed with this mullet."
Sweet. Good night.
She said, "I can wait a year."
And we didn't sleep that night.
That's right. All right, Iverstine's Meat is located on Perkins Road, the butcher shop over there. Man, it is very unique in the way that it operates. You can go in there and see them slicing everything up through the window. You can order right there at the counter. It's a cool spot over on Perkins Road. What's going on here? Getting geared up for football season? Is this kind of the part of the calendar where you're kind of gearing up for it?
Storm. This is our last big hurrah before football season. Is 4th of July. This is like our Christmas right in the middle of the year.
Yeah.
So we getting everybody outfitted with their briskets and pork shoulders and hot dogs and hamburgers and all that.
What's going on for football season? What are you planning? What are you planning?
You know, football season is weird for us. Our best case scenario is a away night game.
Okay.
We kill it on a away night game.
Because people stay at home and cooking?
That's right. That's our target audience is people staying at home and doing it. The big tailgates has kind of been co-opted by all the big corporate tailgates.
Yeah.
Everybody bounces around to. It's no longer like you and 5 buddies grilling a good cut of meat. It's just kind of bouncing around to tailgates. So we really focus on people cooking at their house, watching it on TV.
So real quick, tell me about you got a couple of beers here from Parish Brewing.
Yeah, this is from Parish Brewery out of Broussard, Louisiana. This is they do this every year during the summer. It's called Greetings from Holly Beach. Last year it was called
Yeah, pass those things around, man.
yeah, these are great.
They're only good cold.
So this is a Berliner style beer. I thought it'd be great for breakfast. It's got pineapple, mango, passion fruit, and
It's
coconut.
so fruity. Wow.
So it's delicious.
I'm digging it.
Fine, I'll cheat on natural light.
It's like a smoothie.
Nice.
I'll get used to that.
There you go.
You got to give it the smell test.
Cheers to new teeth.
To an NIL team.
Yes. to an NIL team.
I'm
Amen.
not sponsored.
Amen.
I'm not an athlete, but you can still sponsor me.
I can drink these beers.
Oh, that is good. That is good.
Really
I don't
is.
even really like beer.
Alcohol, I guess that's not doable in the new NIL laws, right?
No,
Okay.
no, it's not. But the NIL stuff is crazy. Hey, would you? You are a business owner. Would you
I
think
am.
about getting into that?
Yeah, I mean, I think my ideal athlete would be probably like the offensive line.
Uh huh.
Yes.
Yeah.
big, meaty
Absolutely.
suckers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Bring them
Yeah.
to Hogs for the Cause
So
and
we-
have them just chow down.
Yeah, we unload all of our carcasses, like our beef cattle sides and our hog sides, every Saturday night. So get them in there, unloading cattle sides and stuff. I think that would be great marketing for them.
Tell our listeners how to get in touch with you. We're about to link up here with Ben Mintz and go up to New York City. You
Yep.
can hang out. You can stay around if you want. But before we get to more sports content, tell us about Iverstine's social media, where you're located, get
So
everything.
you can contact us at Iverstine Farms on Instagram. That's where we're most active. If you want to put in any sort of special orders for the weekend for 4th of July, 225-349-8200. You can email us info@iverstinefarms.com.
What's bigger, 4th of July or the first LSU home football game?
4th of July for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
I love a
Yeah,
hot
Portnoy
dog.
Effect.
And the burn ends are incredible.
Awesome.
They're
Oh,
incredible.
you gnawed one down back
I did.
there?
2 of
Yeah.
them.
Impressive.
You just gummed it to death.
yeah.
You guys saving some for later in that?
Yeah, I'm back here, and they got a little tucked into the cast behind the front too. It's all good. Yeah,
sure
bro.
they did a good job.
It ain't no good. It ain't no good.
No,
G, good to see you, bro.
Yeah, great to see you.
Great to see you, man.
I want to drink this beer.
Yeah, hang out and drink. Let's see here. Let's link up with Ben Mintz. Let's go to New York City, and if you want to give me a little volume there, we'll just ring him up and talk to Mincy here. Mincy did a great job of growing the game. Good morning, buddy. How are you? We're live here down in South Louisiana. Did you make it back safe?
I did. It's funny. I didn't realize they were going to let me leave Omaha. I thought I'd move there.
Well, you did a great job, man. And if you set out 3 months ago to grow the game of college baseball, I would wake up today and tell you here on Friday, July 2nd, that you accomplished your goal, man. How do you feel about the last 3 months and the attention that you showed college baseball and kind of how you saw your brand grow around it?
Man, I feel amazing about it. And I remember I came on here, I guess it was 5 or 6 weeks ago, and I remember Jordy, you were saying how much good sentiment there was in the South, and I felt like I felt it, but I still wondered about the nationwide thing, and it really hit. It was like lightning right before the NCAA tournament started. We got those Barstool and Omaha shirts out, and they did really well. And then the big thing that I've been hoping for forever was, well, not, a couple months, was Penn getting the lines up on the sports book. And that was the whole thing. To grow college baseball, man, I know how much people love it in the South. And, it's just the big thing is getting the lines on the game. Whether you can win or lose, picking them is a whole other story. But the big thing was getting the lines on the games. And I think Dave, I don't know, it felt like Dave Portnoy is an old school baseball guy. He was really great high school baseball player. He almost walked on in college. And I don't know, something triggered. Maybe it was his love for baseball or I don't know, but he got just super into it when Penn started doing the lines and he started messing me with picks. And, the biggest thing you can do, I mean, you can say whatever about me, but it's just all about getting Dave's attention because he's so big. It's just crazy when he starts tweeting about stuff with 2.5 million followers. Something we did caught his interest, and it took off like lightning. The NCAA tournament and the regionals and super regionals in Omaha. I mean, if y'all saw it, I thought that was just completely out of hand the last couple of weeks. I mean, it was, it's just funny because it's so ironic where, like, I obviously got destroyed gambling picks and my arch rival won the national title. I mean, you couldn't pick worse, alleged worst scenarios in my head, and yet it was still a great success. It's funny how life works.
Mississippi State has won the national championship. I'd imagine if I gave you that scenario 3-4 months ago when you were setting out to go grow the game, if I tell you that you're going to be hugely successful, you will pick up so many more social media followers and followers around the country, but Mississippi State's going to be the last team standing, what would you have said?
Man, it's one of those things that you look at the state tradition in baseball, though. I mean, it's hard to believe they didn't have one already. When you really look at their tradition, I mean, that was their 12th Omaha trip. You go back to the mid-'80s, how good their teams have been.
Ooh, the troll. Nice little shot. A nice little dig. Can't believe it's their first.
Been there so many times. Finally get laid.
Well, no, I mean, they've been good for so long. You figured they'd win one, and then it finally happened. But for the Barstool front, I mean, I thought we were going to be in Omaha 7 or 8 days, and State making the run. Kept Pick Central there, and the state turnout was unbelievable Monday through Wednesday for the Pick Central shows, DJ's Dugout. The state turnout in Omaha was the craziest things I've ever seen. I know LSU travels like that usually too, but I'm talking State had like 30. I thought they had 30,000 plus fans out there.
It looked like Duty Noble.
It sounded like Duty Noble.
Yeah.
I mean, the game.
Not the cowbells though. That was different.
It was literally they did like 5% of the stadium was fans. I mean, it was insane, the turnout, and then, obviously have a lot of respect for that fan base as far as, just a big turnout and passion. A world where Mississippi State's national champion is going to be a tough world for the Ole Miss fans for sure. I don't love that, but, when you look at the greater good of college baseball, especially with what happened in NC State, I think Vandy winning, I mean, I was obviously pulling for Vandy. I'm not going to sit here and act like I wasn't. But Vandy winning for the sport would have probably been bad after what happened with NC State. And so for the good of the sport, I think it's better for State to win. For my individual selfish needs and all that, I mean, obviously it's going to be rough. We're never going to hear the end of it. But that's what happens when you win a national title. You get to talk your smack. So such is life.
Dave Portnoy tweeted out June 30th at 10 o'clock at night. You know what's crazy? I watched like 10 college baseball games and was already better at picking games than Barstool Mintz, who watched the entire season and can't pick his nose. He did a great job. Hashtag grow the game, though, somehow. That is exactly what we've been talking about with Portnoy and you for the last couple of months, where it seemed like he was trolling you on social media, but there was always this underlying tone of his love for you. And I think that tweet said it best 2 days ago in just trying to kind of mess with you, but then on the back end, giving you the pat on the back that you really deserve. What is next for the growth of the game?
Well, so for Dave to say that, I mean, that was a huge. I'm not gonna lie, that was a huge moment for me when I got to read that. It was right as State was winning too, but I saw that tweet, and for him to, I mean, he could have easily, like right when State won, because I had Vandy to win it all and all that. I thought he was about to troll me again, and he went a complete different direction on that one, and it was a spot where he easily could have gotten me. Meant a lot to me to see that, because when you look at the Dave stuff, I mean, I won't forget. The big thing with this is I won't forget when I came back from when I saw you. Well, when I did that, we were together for the NFL draft, but it was that road trip where I did Arkansas, LSU, Ole Miss State, and Ole Miss LSU. I remember I came on the rundown, and Dave's like, "I'm glad the 8 people that like college baseball are enjoying your coverage, trolling me." And for him to go from that in early May to saying, "Great job growing the game," less than 2 months later was really special. As far as what's next for me, they actually give us off the whole week of July 4th, so I get to kind of regroup a little bit. But after that, what I'm wanting to get into is we restarted the Barstool Poker podcast, Cracking Aces, which I'm a part of with Nate Smitty. I'm going to be doing some stuff with that, and I'm wanting to work a little bit on the Barstool Poker stuff potentially. So that's going to be a big thing I'm doing next. And then also getting ready for football season. I can't even say enough how fun this football season is going to be. I don't know what my exact role or any of that stuff is yet other than Pick Central, but it just feels like this one's going to just be such a monster with stadiums being back full. And I can't wait to whether I'm out on the road or I really don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to go full bore at this one, that's for sure.
If it's anything like your college baseball promotion, everybody should be looking forward to what is next for Barstool Mintz up there in New York, because you did a great job on growing the game like you set out to do. Ben Mintz joining us here on the Jordy Culotta Show like he does every Friday. Dave Portnoy, your boss, was on social media talking about name, image, and likeness yesterday, which was the absolute wild, wild west of college athletics on July 1st, 2021. It'll be a day that lives on forever. And that we talk about forever. And Barstool is getting into the NIL game. It started with a Jackson State volleyball player, and since then, if you're following Barstool's timeline, it has been one after another athlete, whether it's football, basketball, baseball. I think that I saw an LSU swimming and diving athlete was with Barstool now. Can you just give us a little bit of insight on the stance of Barstool and NIL and kind of how you see it from your point of view?
Well, I'll say this. I thought when I saw Dave do that, I think maybe that made more sense why Dave was so into the college baseball.
Uh-huh.
I feel like he obviously had that planned, and I feel like that really felt like it might have been part of his strategy with him going so hard in Omaha in college baseball. But I think, it is the Wild Wild West. I don't know all the details on it. I know this. Jordy, I got hundreds of DMs from athletes yesterday about it. It got so out of control. I don't know if you saw Dave and Big Cat both said it. Like, hey, you got to submit to this other account. Everybody was getting flooded so bad. I felt like half the athletes on Ole Miss's campus hit me up yesterday.
Wow.
It was insane. I'm not going to say the names, but it just was out of control how many hit me up. So it's just crazy. The power of Barstool just never ceases to amaze me, man. It's just unreal, the power Dave has. And I think it's great for college athletics, way, way overdue. You and I both feel the same way. We've discussed this stuff for years. These athletes are bringing millions and millions of dollars to these schools and revenue. It's time for them to get their cut of the share of the pie, especially when they give up their whole lives basically to be athletes at these schools. Just you expect them to do it for free. It's crazy. So I'm really happy for the athletes in general. This is something that should have been happened 30 years ago. So overall, all about it. Can't wait to see what happens in Barstool. I don't know, like, what all the sponsorship deals are going to be. I feel like it might be, like, I don't know if it's here or what. Like I said, you mentioned Wild Wild West. I think that's the way of looking at it. And then, I know a guy, a Baton Rouge guy who works up here for that Matchpoint connection that's going real hard at LSU people. The Zach Oliver, who used to play quarterback for Catholic High in Baton Rouge Northwestern, he's up here in New York working on it. And I know that it seems like kind of fascinating what that company's trying to do, too.
Yeah, his brother, Brian Oliver, is on the board of supervisors for Matchpoint down here, and a very successful businessman in his own right. We will talk to Jonathan Pixley from Matchpoint coming up here in a couple of minutes. Mintz, get you out of here on this one. What are the plans for July 4th?
Oh, man, I'm just going to just take it easy and not post any pics from Vogue Day Portnoy.
We got lunch for the cause here.
That's right. We've got Galen Alexander in studio with us from Iverstine's, and he was down at Hogs for the Cause a couple of weeks ago and was talking about how great of an event it was and how good of a job you did. So, Mintz, keep up the great work, bro. You represent our state, you represent our area, you represent the SEC and Southeast, the demographic down here. Incredibly, bro. Great job on growing the college baseball game, and look forward to seeing you down in South Louisiana soon.
Oh, I can't wait to get back. I hope I get back to football. And that New Orleans Halloween this year looks like the all-timer, so I've got that start.
See you there.
Yeah, thank y'all again for having me. And Katie, I want to mention Katie. I ran into Michael Borner, who you hooked me up with State. When I hung out with him and his son a bunch in Omaha. And it was I actually had a tweet of him wearing the camo Mississippi State jersey, kind of trolling a little bit.
Great.
So
Good.
that was your relationship. So,
Good.
all right. Well, thank y'all very much for having me, and look forward to coming back on soon. Y'all have a good job.
Later, Mincy. There has been Mintz checking in from New York City this morning. Daily, we're brought to you by here on the Jordy Culotta Show by Hub International Insurance. Remember, you can get in touch with Hub International Insurance about any questions that you may have about the Affordable Health Care Act. If you are a business owner like Galen Iverstine, who is here with us this morning, and you have not addressed, or have you addressed all the requirements regarding your group health plan, then you can get in touch with Scott Daugherty, my friend over at Hub International, where he can help you out with all of those questions that you may have. Business owners, do you cover yourself on your own workers' comp plan? Let us tell you why that decision is important guarding your group health plan over at Hub International. Scott Daugherty is one click away. All you got to do is email me, Jordy at JordyCulottaShow.com, and then I'll have the request in his inbox to help you out as a business owner or anybody out there that has questions about business insurance. Let Hub International answer those questions for you today. All right, give me 20 seconds. Let us reset. We'll be back with Jonathan Pixley talking name, image, and likeness here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, Jordy at JordyCulottashow.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. Jordy at JordyCulottashow.com to learn more. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, presented by Go Chevrolet, online GEAUXChevrolet.com. We have talked a ton about name, image, and likeness over the last 48 hours, and it is moving and shaking around college athletics, and it is everywhere. Anytime you open up your social media, odds are you will see something about name, image, and likeness. And if you're down here in South Louisiana, you have seen Matchpoint the logo and the name really being very popular with name, image, and likeness. Jonathan Pixley, who is the VP of Business Development over at Matchpoint, is set to join us here and talk a little bit about that. I've got Coach Jonathan Pixley down as one of the great high school basketball coaches within our state, and I use that term "great." I'm not using it loosely. I think that the program that he built at the Dunne School is a model that a lot of coaches around the area will look at and say, "Man, I would like my program to look like that, to feel like that, to play like that." I never thought Jonathan Pixley would ever leave the Dunne School. I didn't. I thought that he had opportunities to go on to bigger jobs, but he always stayed at Dunne because he believed in the vision of what he was building. And not to say that he does not, but it must have taken something very special for him to let that go and move on to Matchpoint. And that's where he is now. He is the VP of Business Development, and he is joining us this morning here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Coach, thank you for the time, and thank you for joining us.
Well, first of all, I have just hired a new marketing agent, so that was a phenomenal intro. Definitely not deserved, but I appreciate it, and thank you for the time today as well.
No problem, Coach, but I do mean that with all sincerity. I mean, I've watched your teams play over the last decade, and you know, never left the gym thinking that they didn't have a chance to win the game because of coaching. You always did a great job of coaching your group, and you pay attention to it from an individual standpoint as you love the game, you teach the game. How special or how much potential did you see in Matchpoint for you to decide, you know what, I'm ready for the next chapter of my life?
Well, a lot, to say the least.
Yep.
You know, to leave a place like Dunne where not only did I coach for quite some time, and obviously we had a reasonable amount of success, but I watched my family grow up there. You know, my wife is the volleyball coach still there, runs an amazing program. My two daughters have grown up there. One graduated, 2 years ago, and the other one is going to be a junior next year. And so, yeah, it was an amazing, had to be a really, really unbelievable opportunity for me to leave that place. And, while I'm talking about them, I'd like to shout them out a little bit right now, just because the Dunne School is an amazing, amazing place to work at, to send your kids to school. Athletics are great, but from an academic side of things, they are top notch. And so I can't thank them enough for all the time that they gave me.
Coach, can you explain to our listeners that may be unfamiliar or up to this point are a little confused on what Matchpoint is? What is your elevator speech on Matchpoint when you meet somebody new or you're going after a potential client?
Yeah, so I've tried to time this, and I think eventually I'm going to be able to do it in 30 seconds or less. That's how simple it is, but I'm probably 45 to 60 right now. So it is an app-based platform that ultimately connects brands and talent, so businesses and influencers, and now athletes, right, with the NIL stuff, to help promote brand awareness. So if you're a brand, for example, and you're a business that's looking to spend a different type of ad money, or maybe a better type of ad money, however you want to go about it, however you want to phrase it, you would register on our app for free, by the way. It's free. The only way that Matchpoint makes any money at all is if a match is made. So the brand would sign up, and then what would happen is with the specs that they register with, our algorithm would then generate a list of talent that matches with them and even has percentages next to it for the match. At that point, the brand has the ability to reach out through the app, okay, and communicate strictly through the app and reach out to the talent that they see and, negotiate an offer. Once the offer is submitted and sent, and if it is accepted by the influencer or the athlete, then the money goes into escrow with us at Matchpoint. So we're actually able to protect both sides of the equation. And then once the promotional deal is done, could be a social media post, could be a on-site event, whatever, okay? Once that is completed and the brand signs off on it, then we release the money to the talent. So again, we're protecting it, on both sides of it. Matchpoint gets a 9% on off of the deal. So we get 9% from the business side, we get 9% from the talent side, which is As you know, with a lot of marketing agencies that are charging 20 points, we're still below that. So anyhow, we're looking, Jordy, we're trying to do the Walmart McDonald's approach, as opposed to the Mercedes-Benz approach. We want, I know a lot of these big deals with NIL are coming out, and you're going to see the big names up first. You know, obviously you saw with us, you saw Derek and you saw Miles, and that's a big deal. But, you know, I think we have as much to offer to what we call the 97% as we do to the top 3%. So we have a little bit of something for everybody.
We saw Stingley yesterday and his tweet and his social media coming out, and it was a great graphic with Walk-On's logo, Matchpoint's logo, and then the image of Derek Stingley behind all of that. What do you guys, like, for instance, let's take Stingley in the model there. What are you guys doing with Walk-Ons and with Stingley to I guess make this relationship move down the line from a business standpoint? What is your role?
We're simply the conduit. We're just the middleman. That's it. And we're the plumbing. Like, I think a lot of people, they're in the misconception that we're acting as an agent. We're not an agent. Mm-hmm. Okay. We don't sign anybody to an exclusive deal. Like, we haven't signed Derek Stingley to a deal or Miles Brennan to a deal. You know, what it is they onboarded onto our app, again, for free. And then they took advantage of the ability to promote it and have brands reach out to them. So Walk-Ons was already a brand on our app, okay? And Derek Stingley onboarded, and Walk-Ons reached out to Derek Stingley and said, here's what we want to do. And so we're off and running. And like I said, we're simply the conduit. The only part that where we get involved is when the money is changed. We actually can make sure that that is accomplished. And we've talked to compliance offices around the state and different universities, and know that our ability to do three things for universities potentially, okay, are really attractive. Number one, we have the ability to screen vendors. So the athletes, obviously, they can't be involved in tobacco and alcohol companies and things like that. And then we obviously have the ability to make sure that the kids get paid, okay, which is a big deal. Yeah. Because I think you would recognize this willingly, that there's going to be some bad people who get involved in this. Sure. And so you can't trust everybody with that, but we have the ability to make sure that they get paid. And then, you know, we have the ability to report deals that are made to universities to help the compliance departments a little bit. So we can cover those three things, and I think it makes us a little bit more attractive than maybe others at this point.
Coach, I agree with you that the 97% will be better served in this model than the top 3% with guys like Stingley, because they're very accessible. I think everybody knows who they are, and with the opening of name, image, and likeness, those are the guys that you want. But I think the guys that you will dig for or have to research for will be some of the money makers here that really make sense in this model. What do you see the potential of earnings for a guy like Stingley, for a top 3% guy? What is the potential for somebody like him, a personality or a player of his caliber's type of potential on earning here?
Jordy, I really don't know that you can even project it, because, you know, the rules are so vague at this point. I mean, there are things that can and can't be done for sure, but like for a kid like Derek, who, you know, not only is he the best cornerback in America and probably a top 3 to 5 draft pick, but he's a great kid, you know, and he's somebody that people are going to want to do business with. I hesitate to put a dollar amount on that. I mean, is it in the hundreds of thousands? Is it $1 million? I mean, I don't know. I mean, you see what's happening with Olivia Dunne, the gymnast, you know, and she's in a little bit lower revenue sport, obviously, right? But she's got the highest following of anybody on LSU's campus. So a lot of it is social media driven. But I think here's the interesting part to me. Okay. And I use this as an example the other day. I played at a small Division I school in Birmingham, Alabama, at Sanford, right? For Coach John Brady.
That's right.
So when I played there, if this had been in existence, okay, I was certainly not a nationwide name, but people in Birmingham and people in the state of Alabama knew who I was. I really believe that guys in my position could have taken advantage of this situation with local businesses and generated some nice income. And I think that's what we're talking about with this 97%. You know, you got guys who were high school legends back in their hometown, right? And every time they go back, even if they sit the bench for the university that they're at, every time they go back home, they're somebody, and I think that they have the ability to take advantage of this. I also, and I know this is not under the NIL umbrella, but I also believe that there's a huge potential for former players who want to stay relevant, and who should stay relevant with everything that they gave to their university.
Like so Rohan Davey? Like a Rohan Davey?
Absolutely, without question. Yeah, without question.
Jonathan Pixley joining us here. He's from Matchpoint. He is the business developer over there, vice president of the business development over at Matchpoint, and name, image, and likeness obviously is exploding all over the country. What's the anxiety level in the compliance part, in the compliance departments that you're talking to throughout colleges around the country and around the state? What is their feeling right now? Because it's got to be a very uneasy feeling because of what you talked about, just because of the uncertainty and the unknown that you all are going through right now.
I think the anxiety stems to exactly what you just said, the unknown, right? I mean, they don't know what to expect, and I mean, it was day one yesterday. Okay, we all know, there's a lot of hype behind anything on day one that's big, and so we expect different waves of this. But I think compliance departments, we're hearing different things. They really. Some of the meetings that we've had, they're kind of looking at each other going, well, we really don't know. And they don't know, and that's the issue. So, and I do think, though, that there's a part of some of the people that we've spoken with that's like, well, I mean, we just kind of got to roll with it and let it happen because it's here regardless. And I think that's probably the healthiest attitude you can have because it is here. And if you just get all worried about crossing, every T and dotting every single I, when you don't even know which I's and T's to dot and cross, that's got to be a really, really difficult situation for those. I don't envy the position that they're in. I know, speaking to one person in particular yesterday, he's got that healthy attitude, but at the same time knows he's dealing with a lot of different angles. And I know the trademarking and licensing thing, using the school marks, that's a big, big issue with schools right now that they're having to kind of monitor.
A multiple-time state champion as a coach for the Dunne School, still probably the best pickup basketball player in our area. Get him going, bro. He don't miss. And the vice president of business development over at Matchpoint. Thank you for the time this morning. Thank you for the knowledge. We will be checking in again soon, Coach.
Thanks so much, Jordy. I really appreciate it.
Tell Hanny hello.
No doubt.
Yes.
No doubt.
Charles Annegriff over there working for Matchpoint with Pixley and the crew as they try to navigate this name, image, and likeness from they are. Mm-hmm. Day one. They were prepared.
Yeah.
They were very much prepared for day one of NIL and all the stuff that was going in there. Daily, we are brought to you by Hebert's Specialty Meats. Hebert's Specialty Meats with 2 locations. Right here in the surrounding area of Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge is located on Jefferson Highway in the Bocage Shopping Center, right next to Pearson's Luggage. Out in Prairieville, they are located in the Dutchtown Shopping Center. So as soon as you get off in Gonzales, right there at the Dutchtown exit, they're right there on the right. Stop in and see them for pickups. July 4th, you can go pick up your slab of meat, whatever you want to be cooking this weekend. But they also have great lunch selections out in Gonzales and a lunch menu coming to Baton Rouge. So pay attention starting next week. In Baton Rouge, Hebert's Specialty Meats will have lunch menu. We'll have a lunch menu for you where you can walk in, grab something quick, sit down, take it back to the desk, take it back to the house, get back to work or whatever you got going on this summer. But while you're waiting on your lunch to be made, you can search the freezer, search what they have
chicken.
Got going on over there. The home of the debone chicken. Hebert's Specialty Meats got great gear. We've got great gift cards that we have to give away.
We're inundated with meat today.
Yes, we are. Meat everywhere.
Pretty bad.
When you think meat, think Jay. Hebert's Specialty Meats, as we can help you out. All right, from there we go to Nathan Velasquez as Nathan up in New York City. A heat wave coming through the Northeast. We will ask. Yeah, bro.
I was like, what is this?
Well, I mean, it's Louisiana. Has the heat hit you?
I saw my friends' stories. It was 97.
Give me a little volume over there, please. Nate Dogg.
Hey, how's it going?
Good morning, buddy. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Does it feel like Louisiana up there? I saw the heat wave going through the Northeast. Is the humidity as bad, or is it a different type of heat?
It's nothing like the same level of heat. I kept telling. There was like one of our next door neighbors was saying like, "Oh my gosh, the heat wave," and they're saying, "Hey, make sure you have this, make sure you have this." So I've been prepping this week for some level of heat wave. You can still go for a run for 5 minutes and not sweat here. Like
Wow.
it feels like nothing like Baton Rouge. Something like a normal Tuesday comes by in Baton Rouge during the summer. You walk outside for 5 seconds. It's like, okay, that's enough for today. You go back inside. You're done. But we got these notifications. Yeah, we got these notifications. I don't know if it was trending over there, but everyone in New York City got like a notification from the city saying, turn off your lights because like the grid's about to go down, or we're close to the grid going down in this area. And people were like, just turn off Times Square for like 5 minutes.
Quentin Tarantino is back in the news, and he's not in the news for the reasons why I like. He's not producing another movie. He's throwing shade at Bruce Lee. Why?
Well, he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he was talking about. Well, they were talking about how there was controversy whenever Once Upon a Time in Hollywood came out, because if you've seen the movie, there's that scene wherever Brad Pitt's character kind of challenges Bruce Lee when they're kind of standing around the set to a battle, and then he kind of beats Bruce Lee in a way that makes him seem really embarrassed. It embarrasses Bruce Lee's character. It makes him seem kind of like a know-it-all.
Right.
And the martial arts community went full in when the movie came out to criticize Tarantino. So they were addressing it on the show. The context was kind of like, there are lots of controversies whenever movies come out. It's either the violence or this or that. And he said, yeah, Bruce Lee was a big problem. And, everyone that had a problem with Bruce Lee, they can go suck a dick. I think that's exactly what he said. So it was ironic that because he said that, it was like a totally meta thing that like a few hours later, he's trending again for telling that whole community, doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter what you think. So then there was just this whole thing about saying that Bruce Lee back in the day didn't have respect for American stuntmen. And it exploded all over again. But, Tarantino fans, I think, are hardcore, so they're not going to let him be canceled for something like that.
Did he say that he's going to make another Kill Bill here? Would that be Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke's daughter?
Yes. Yeah. He said that if it were to happen, that is who he would get to play the daughter. And it'd be like set 20 years in the future. He didn't say what exactly the plot would be, but I think the speculation is that, I forget the name of the first person that Uma Thurman goes to battle, but even it's at her house, and then her daughter sees that they're fighting and everything. So I think the plot is that, or at least it's been hinted that daughter would go hunting Uma Thurman and Uma Thurman's daughter, which would be awesome. That'd be awesome. I'd love that.
The 5-minute critic, Nathan Velasquez, here every Friday with us on the Jordy Culotta Show. As he is, what's the movie this week? What are we reviewing?
This week is Pixar's Luca, which is actually not in theaters. It's only on streaming, which is a little bit weird. It feels kind of like a straight-to-DVD type thing, especially for Pixar. They normally give it like the full rollout theater treatment. And I won't give everything away about the review or the movie. That'll be on the 5-minute critic YouTube channel at like 11 Central Time. But the movie is much more of a kid's movie, like a little kid's movie. Pixar has Toy Story, Cars, all of those movies, like, obviously they're for kids, but as an adult, you can watch them and you can get just as much as a kid does. Like, that's kind of their brand. Pixar makes movies for everyone. This one is really aimed at the very, very little kids. So if you've got kids, then your kid's going to have it on 75 times, and around then you'll probably love it. But it's kind of going more at that market. So it's fine. It's just, it's not what Pixar is known for, and it's probably not going to be that memorable.
We are always fans of Italian programming, so we will take that in. Speaking of Italian programming, The Sopranos, are they dropping their sequel? Is that coming out this week? What is it? The Many Saints of Newark, I believe, is the title.
This is the thing this week to really get pumped about. It's October 1st. It'll be in theaters and on HBO Max. It is the prequel of The Sopranos. Wow. It follows Tony Soprano whenever he is in high school. Whenever he kind of first gets, there are a few points in The Sopranos where he kind of references his uncle and how his uncle kind of got him into the trade. It seems like this movie is going to be showing what the relationship between him and his uncle is like. And they've got to play young Tony Soprano James Gandolfini's son. Looks like he does an incredible job. That is a really, really exciting movie.
Is Tony's mother one of the most annoying characters in television history?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, my gosh. That is... Ooh. I think I'm excited to see what the young version of that character is going to be like. But, yeah, that is... it's teeth grinding.
4th of July plans, Nate.
4th of July plans. Actually, I've got a wedding on the 4th of July.
Wow.
I'm still wondering.
Weird.
I don't know. I guess what's the opinion of someone that has a wedding on the 4th of July? The first thing I think is it must have been like a discount for the venue.
It seems weird.
Discount makes sense. I don't hate it. You know what I mean? I don't
it's
hate it.
Definitely to do, but I mean,
it's different.
It's just a day that you would have had plans regardless, so you're taking a holiday away from me.
Well, I mean, New York seems like much like a, I mean, they're on the coast. I mean, it seems like they would try to get to water, to the beach area.
Try to get to water.
I mean, on a holiday weekend, on a long weekend, I mean, you would think that they would be heading to somewhere with water and sand. So, yeah, probably a selfish play. Probably a selfish play on the wedding.
What I was thinking is going forward, your anniversary is always on the 4th of July. Like you kind of locked into every anniversary being barbecues and the red, white, and blue tablecloth, the plastic tablecloth. That just seems a bit odd, but it'll be fun. So that's 4th of July fun. Well,
you get fireworks on every 4th of July, but Nate, I watched Midsommar over the weekend, and I got absolutely reamed for not realizing that the boyfriend was a bad boyfriend. But because I was watching it, and she kind of shoehorned herself into this vacation, and I was like, well, she wasn't really invited. It was a guy's trip, and then it turns out he turns out to be the most menacing person in the film, and I didn't pick up on it at all.
Lloyd, did you watch this with your girlfriend?
Yes, it was a bit. It's still going on.
Midsommar is the worst movie to watch with your significant other. It will cause fights. The entire movie is based around this couple that should have broken up years ago. And it sets up so many of those. You just got to keep your mouth quiet. Like you've got. I went and saw that one with just a buddy of mine, so there was no issue. But in the middle of the night, you're like, oh, she's totally wrong. Oh, there's absolutely no way. What is she doing? That's totally wrong. And I know I can already hear it. What do you mean she's wrong? What are you talking about? She was doing nothing wrong there.
It was an absolute disaster. The first time I watched it, yes. Well, the first time I watched it was with a group of guys, and we may have ingested something, and we didn't pick up on it at all. We're just like, this movie's wild. And then I watched it, and she's like, you're not mad at this? I was like, oh my god, I'm in for it.
Well, yeah, I'm mad. Hell yeah, I'm mad about it.
I didn't pick up on it, dude. I was like, what? Who's wrong?
Nate, the first Fear Street drops tonight, right? Are you watching?
Oh wait, I'm sorry. What? The first what?
Fear Street, the Netflix horror trilogy.
Oh, no. I saw something about this on Twitter. I'm not even caught up with, I guess, what Fear Street is. It's like a trilogy of movies. It's coming out back to back.
Yeah, they're dropping one every week in July. Tonight's the first one.
Wow.
Oh, I'm going to have to keep up with that.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to keep up with that.
The 5-minute critic. You find him all over social media. He's got a great YouTube page where he's breaking down movies. Today he will be breaking down Pixar's Luca at around 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure that you have your notifications set on YouTube over at the 5-Minute Critic to keep up with the latest of what's coming out. If you want to catch Nate, he's here every Friday with us during the second hour, right around this time, 8:30 every Friday, as we link up with the South Louisiana native that is doing great things all over the country, whether it's out in Hollywood or up on Broadway in Manhattan. He is a great representative of our area and doing cool stuff. Good to catch up with you. Happy 4th of July. We'll talk again soon.
Talk to you next week.
Later, buddy. There is Nathan Velasquez checking in this morning from New York City, a hot New York City here on this Friday.
Already getting text for bringing that up.
I bet. You dumbass.
No, I think
you
the worst.
Can't help yourself.
I love it.
That's a hot stove right there. I don't know if I touch that.
Let me put my
Don't
face
touch the hot stove. He's jumping into the stove. What a moron this guy is.
That water sure seems warm.
4th of July plans. What y'all got? You just came off a vacation. You're probably just chilling, huh?
I'm detoxing.
Yeah, bro. Just load them up all weekend.
I'll be in
what
New
are you
Orleans all weekend.
New Orleans all
Monday
weekend.
night.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
That means
You do it.
That means that Noah is house sitting, which means party for the Culotta show. I'll be in a hot
They're
tub
gonna
in
be
the
grilling
pool.
up that deboned chicken.
Yeah, right.
The first name, image, and likeness
Henry,
party.
go in that. Go grab that out of that safe real quick if you don't mind, there, buddy.
Bring that on back.
What you got, Lizzie?
No, I'm not sure. I got a
Katie's
couple
outside.
plans in the works.
Yeah,
I was thinking, meet Noah and 100,000 your closest friends for the first name, image, and likeness Jordy Culotta party.
Looks like a Tupac pool party back in '93, bro. All right, everybody have a great weekend. My mouth is killing me, bro. I'm about to go pump some pain meds and get through the day here. But shout out to my guy, Dr. Spillers, for taking care of me. I have kicked the can on this thing long enough, so this is totally my fault for having this happen on the front tooth. As we will take Monday off. Everybody good with that? Everybody good with that? We'll take Monday off to recognize July 4th, to take in the holiday. Noah, shoot them up for us, bro. The Harpers Haberdashery giveaway.
In the shoes.
Noah got scared for a second. Shoot him up.
Noah is in his beautiful house shoes. I think the ball's right here. Basketball is right here. One shot for Harpers Haberdashery.
And should we do another shot for a gift card?
Are you eating all that meat?
Chris Jarrell, he's wearing it,
he's
bro.
all that.
Yeah, he's wearing it. Watch the table there, no.
He can't help himself.
Yeah, no, big meathead coming through here.
It's coming through.
Chris Jarrell says Sha'Carri Richardson suspended for the Olympics. Yeah, we talked about that in the first hour. What a total abomination. I mean, just incredible that you take one of the fastest humans in the world and penalize her for smoking marijuana in 2021. I know it's the rule. But for God's sakes.
Somebody said, I wonder why that must be why she's slow off the gate. It makes sense.
Oh, like
Closer.
Yeah.
Closer.
Closure speed.
All right, we good here with the camera angle?
Oh, yeah.
You good? We good? All right, Noah, how we feeling?
Ceiling.
Yeah, watch that roof, bro. Watch the roof. Don't make the same mistake here. Brick. Give him another one.
Give him another one. He's got no confidence in the shot anymore.
I mean, out in the driveway.
It's unbelievable.
It's a different beast.
He's Ben Simmons.
All right. Flip one to Jack there on the class. See if we can't get somebody here.
Or give him a pat. Like he needs to catch it off the
catch
pass.
and shoot.
Yeah, he needs to catch and shoot.
Run him off a screen here.
Catch and shoot.
Run around that camera. Come off the screen of that camera right there. Come off square your shoulders. All right, Jack. Let's see how the vacation treats you. Jesus, too much.
Toss me that
Good
thing, dude.
God, man. What did you do for a week?
I mean, let's just
Killed
do.
him
Oh no!
Oh my God! Let me see that thing. Let me see that thing. Let me see that
arm's
thing. Let me see that thing.
always
Let me
weak.
see that thing.
Oof.
No? No?
Brutal.
All right.
Yes.
You know what? Forget it, man. Cocky Bob, you win. Go over to Sam's at Harper's Haberdashery, $250. Tell him, because Kate, you want to shoot? You'll probably drain this thing.
Yes, she does.
She'll drain. Noah, can you grab that ball for Katie here before we get out of here? Let's see if we can't get the entire crew a jumper before we get out. How we do? How we do? Brick, Jesus.
Didn't happen. Just
All right, the Culotta crew is off here going into the fourth. We've already started the vacation.
Terrible.
Cocky Bob, you win. Go into Sam over at Sam Willard over at Harper's Haberdashery. Tell him the entire crew missed every shot. Everybody took one. Not only did anybody draw iron? Anybody hit the rim?
No.
Noah?
Noah.
You got two shots. Noah, put your hand down.
Yes. And he came off the screen.
That's right. Cocky Bob, get in over to Sam Willard over at Harper's Haberdashery and tell him that you're this week's winner for $250. Damn, Katie, you threw it off of his face too.
Yeah, right
it was
there
like
on
Sam,
the side of his face.
it was like he headbutted that thing out of there.
Yeah, real close.
All right, have a great weekend. Have a great 4th of July. We'll be back with you on Tuesday here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Cheers.
Cheers. Happy 4th.
God bless you.
Bless you.